Welcome, everyone. It's me, Sharon Mudgett with Salon Innovations, and I am so excited to be here today with you all. And we have Kristi Faulkner from Wahl. She is an avid enthusiast in the industry. She, as a Wahl artist, she has had an opportunity to do what she loves, which is travel the world, teaching all about clippers and trimmers. And she is totally here to be here with you today. And we are super excited to have her here, you guys. She is a long-standing artist with Wahl. And one of the things that I learned about you, Kristi, was that that if I were to ask you about any tool that Wahl has ever made for all the years that you've been with Wahl, you would be able to answer it. So you guys, we are here with an expert, and she is going to go over some amazing information with you. And with that, I'm just going to hand this over to you, Kristi.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Now that everybody knows that I've been here a long time, but I have been a licensed cosmetologist and barber for 31 years. And I have been with Wahl Clippers. This will be going on my 15th year. So half of my career. Absolutely love Wahl Clippers. Always have used Wahl Clippers. I started with a peanut and I started with a designer, and I still have them. They still work. But I have upgraded my arsenal just because we are innovative and we are coming out with new things, and we listen because we really do listen to make sure that we are coming out with the best quality product. So today I'm really, really excited to be able to do this class, this live for you guys. I encourage questions. Please ask questions. That is the way that you learn. That is the way that you really, really are going to figure out what you need and what you need in your arsenal. So I'm super, super excited for everyone to be with us today. So let's go ahead and start talking about clippers, because that is, I think, the biggest thing that people end up making a wrong decision about because they don't know their tools. So it's not that they don't understand how to see or how to achieve the haircut, because I know you guys do thousands of haircuts just like I do. So it's repetition. So you're used to that. But this is the thing. So it's not that you don't know how to do it. A lot of times I feel that you have the wrong, tool in your hand to achieve what you're trying to achieve. So we're just going to do a little bit of clipper education so you can understand the differences between the blades. You can understand the differences between the tools, so you can make a really good decision on what you have in your hand all day to be very, very successful. So let's talk about this one first. This is our cordless Sterling 4. And I want you to see on the back of this, you see on the back of this blade, it has the 3 holes, it has the rivets in the back. And when I turn this to the side, you see this little tiny hump. What this is a 21-degree bevel blade, which we call our taper blade. So this is great for on and off the scalp hair cutting. It's great for clipper over comb. It's great for wet and dry hair cutting. It's absolutely amazing, all different textures of hair. But this is a clipper that I would use definitely like if I was cutting somebody's hair like myself, very light, blonde, fine hair. It's not going to leave those lines in the haircut. It's going to debulk very, very quickly. So this is our other blade. As you can see, this blade has 2 holes. This is our brand new cordless Magic Clip Gold Edition. It's absolutely amazing. This is like my ultimate favorite, my go-to every day. So this is a 2-hole standard blade, 13-degree bevel. So I want you to see the difference. When I hold both of these to the side, I want you to see this one has the hump, 21-degree bevel. This has no hump. Do you see how that's completely flat? This is a 13-degree bevel. So what that means is this is a precision fade blade. So this is going to go directly flat to the scalp. So if you have an issue getting out lines of demarcation or getting out that first line in that bald fade, this is the type of blade that's going to take care of it. This is the type of blade that is going to make your life much, much easier. But this is the type of blade that's going to make your life much easier if you struggle with those lines of demarcation like they're like almost vertical, horizontal. They're just all over the place. So really, when you have one of each of these, both a 3-hole and a 2-hole, the 21-degree bevel, the 13-degree bevel, you will be able to do all different textures of hair, all different haircuts, fading, tapering, everything. So these are the 2 different clippers. These are the 2 different blades. So if we have any questions about those blades, any questions about the clippers, then definitely please ask and we'll answer it. So I did bring a couple other ones so you guys can see. This is our cordless 5-star senior. This is going to be the most powerful cordless that we have. This one is very, very special and very dear to my heart, our cordless gold magic clip, because this is the only one on the market, any type of brand, that has what is called a stagger tooth blade. What a stagger tooth blade is, if I can get really close, I don't know if you can't see it very well, but in between every long blade on this moving blade is a short little blade. And what that does is allows for the hair to lay down as you're cutting it. It almost texturizes it. It makes the fade very, very nice and smooth. There's no other clipper on the market that has this stagger tooth blade. That's why this one is very, very special. So if you struggle with getting that line of demarcation out, making that fade really nice and smooth, wanting that hair to lay down, especially like if it's textured hair, very curly hair, this is going to make your life so much easier, I promise. So the last
Hey, Kristi,
one, yes,
I'm going to jump in there.
let's hear
So
it.
what if someone has a cordless magic clip already and you're showing us the gold one? It's really flashy. It's really pretty, but I mean, is it just a different color or is there something different between the original cordless magic clip and the gold cordless magic clip?
Great question. The gold cordless magic clip is faster, so it runs faster. That's probably the biggest thing we heard from barbers and stylists. And like I said in the beginning, we listen to what you want. So that's probably the biggest thing that we heard is they wanted this clipper to run faster. They wanted that power. They wanted, you know, the power and the speed like a senior. So we gave it to them. Runs faster. This also is a special blade because you see it's gold, but this is a titanium blade, but it also has a diamond-like coating, carbon coating on this cutting blade. What that means is that this blade is going to stay sharper 40% longer than any other blade on the market. Also, the amazing thing about this blade is it is going to stay cooler. So I know you guys at Great Clips are doing a million haircuts throughout the day. And sometimes that's something that people always say, my blade gets warm, it's warm on their head, so on and so forth. Because of the coating on this blade, that's not gonna happen. So you're not gonna have to worry about it. And this is the only clipper on the market that has that coating and this blade. So good question. Good thinking, good thinking. So the last one that we're gonna talk about, this is our Big Mag. This is very, very special because I use this all the time to do, just do hair cutting. The whole entire haircut I'll do with this. And it's absolutely amazing. The difference is this is the lever is on the back. So instead of the lever being on the side, the lever is on the back. And the great thing about this is this blade pops off. And when you pop this blade off, we have another blade that we use, and it is called our texturizing blade. And this is going to take the place of your feather razor, your texturizing shear, your chunking shear. This is going to allow you to do different hairstyles, because really what we're focusing on today is doing softer women's hairstyles, where I know you guys are really proficient in men's hair cutting, but this is what is going to help break the barrier and do more women's hair cutting with clippers and a lot softer. So this is still our Big Mag, and it just has our texturizing blade on it. So it's amazing. So we'll use that as well. So let's talk about so we want to get to this haircut. So let's talk about our consultation. This is my amazing friend, Joey, and I have been cutting your hair for at least, we're not talking how long, no, 30 years. I have been cutting Joey's hair. Don't we look good? 30 years together. I mean, yeah. So But that's the thing. I can't take for granted that I have been cutting her hair for 30 years because Joey is one customer that does like to switch up on me sometimes. So I do need to have a great consultation with her. She, you know, we now have that, but when you have somebody new that comes in and you've never cut their hair before, consultation is everything, because you don't want to do 3 or 4 haircuts in one appointment. You want to understand exactly what they want. You want to understand exactly what you're going to give them. So with Joey, we'll have a nice little consultation. So then I understand what she's trying to achieve and I'm able to give it to her. So do you want to keep the same shape that you're kind of wearing now?
Yes.
Yes. So I can see. How long ago was your last haircut?
About a month.
Okay, so 4 weeks ago she was in. Let's spin her around. Let's move this a little bit closer so we can see. So it was about 4 weeks ago that she had got a haircut. And this is the thing, is I'm looking really to see, one, how much her hair has grown. Also, two, as a new customer, I can see that it's pretty much heavy throughout. I could see that it was tapered at the bottom because it's shorter here at the bottom. So that tells me right here, she's not afraid to go a little bit tight, but not tight too high. So that's giving me my blueprint to see what I have to do. I also can see that she's wearing a little bit more, a shorter texture in the top. And she is liking the softness on the sideburns. So we're not taking the sideburn off really hard, and she's leaving a softness in the front. So by looking at it, you know, this is a good blueprint for me. So, you know, that's the thing. Other questions, you know, that I always ask too is before I do a haircut is, you know, are you afraid to see scalp? If somebody says they want to see no scalp, that's when you know it's going to be a little bit softer, you know, or if they say, no, I like it really low, I want it to last, you know, then that's even better. One other tip I use all the time too is saying, you know, how far do you like your fade to go up? I mean, and this is a great tip for both men and women's hair cutting, because if I were to say 1 finger, that's about what I do on Joey. Is I really do about 1 finger up, and then the rest is kind of blended in, but not too tight. So if I were to say 4 fingers up, she would be getting a really, really tight fade, you know, but she would know that that's what she wants because it's 4 fingers. So in the mirror, I can do like 1 finger, 2 finger, 3 finger, 4 fingers. Even if I were saying, even on the side, how far do I want this fade to go up? 1 finger, 2 finger, 3 finger, 4 finger. That's a good tip to use all the time, both even in your men's hair cutting and in your women's hair cutting. So that's a good evaluation. But before we start, I do want to do a good little rundown on our trimmers, because we talked about the clippers, but trimmers are very, very, very important because that is the finish of the haircut. And the biggest thing that I see with trimmers is people either, 1, not using them appropriately, or 2, being a little bit nervous. Because what happens is people all the time are going to want to buy a clipper and a trimmer, and we finally have the best set ever, the best set you can ever buy. They match, they're beautiful. Because that's what I see a lot, is when I go to a show or I go to a class, the first thing somebody will ask me is, 1, what is my favorite? And my favorite might not be the best for you. And 2, I have people ask me all the time, well, is it in a set? Because cosmetologists, stylists like everything to match. And I totally get that. I love beautiful, blinged out, pretty things. So when we finally came out with these 2, it was like a match made in heaven. They both have their own stand that they sit in. They both are amazing on their run time. So you can't go wrong with these 2. So this is the thing. This basically is, turn it upside down. This is our Detailer LI, our gold edition. But I want you to see also the technology that we brought to this. Do you see how this is gold? This top blade is exactly, looks like the top blade on here, your cutting blade, and look at the back blade. Well, guess what? They both have the same technology. They both have the titanium coating. They both have the diamond-like coating on the top, on the cutting blade. They stay sharper 40% longer. They run cooler. It is amazing. But this is the thing. This trimmer right here is basically like having a straight razor in your hand. very light taps, because I want to see, I love this. This is our big mag. Love it, love it, love it. But this is more considered intermediate, almost kind of like maybe a little better than a butter knife, maybe a dull steak knife. Well, this is like the Ginsu. This is a steak knife. This is getting it done. This is going to take it all off. You're going to be able to edge with it, go around the ears with it. You're going to be able to shave somebody, but you're going to be able to edge their beard with it. You're going to be able to do everything with it. But this is the thing. How hard you press with a different trimmer, this is very light taps. Tap, tap, tap. When you're using a trimmer, you always want to make sure that your cutting blade and your stationary blade are completely hitting the skin exactly at the same time at a 90-degree angle, never laying it down. Because when you lay your trimmer against somebody's skin, all you're doing is gnawing their skin off. That's it. Tap at the same time. But the biggest bonus, I think, for this trimmer is this is what is called our Pro Set. And I took a blade off of a different detailer Ally because I wanted you to see it. This is, see, it's the gold, 5-star, T wide. You can see this is the cutting blade. That's what it looks like. So when you buy and purchase your detailer Ally, this is what's called the Pro Set. It's a game changer. It's going to change your life. Because if you've ever gone through a haircut and you've used your trimmer and you feel like maybe the left side of your trimmer works better than the right side, or you feel like it's cutting, or you feel like it's not cutting hair at all, a lot of times it's because the blade is not aligned properly. It's really because maybe you've thrown it into your station, maybe because you have set it somewhere, maybe somebody borrowed it and they didn't return it to you exactly how you left it. Well, this is what's amazing. So I took the blade off of a different detailer Ally, and I'm just going to, I want you to see how it just snaps. See, snaps in, it won't fall out. It's holding in there. It also comes with a little teeny tiny screwdriver, which is great. So when you do this, do it on a counter, but I'm going to do it in the air so you can see. So with it, my little screwdriver, I'm going to loosen the first screw, loosen the second screw, not completely take the screws out, just loosen them. So once it's in there, that's when I'm able to just hold it, and it's not going to over adjust, because these two pieces right here are not going to let this blade over adjust. It's going to be perfect, zeroed out, perfect every single time. So once it's loosened and I have it in there, that's when I'm going to do number 1 screw a little, number 2 screw a little, number 1 screw all the way, number 2 screw all the way, and I'm done. I pop it out of my Pro Set, I take it, and then all I have to do, as you can see, this is what I got it off of. You just place it right back on, put the screws in, and you're ready to go. Just that easy, just that easy. So that's going to allow you to adjust your precision trimmer every single time that if you feel like it's not working properly, and you're going to adjust it perfect. So it's not going to irritate anybody, cut anybody, give them any abrasions or anything like that, but just a very light touch. You don't have to press hard, because if you're having to press hard with your trimmer, it needs to be adjusted. You do not need to press hard at all. So Tracy, do we have any questions about that?
Not yet, but what I want to do is, will you go over 2 things for us before we move on out of the trimmer segment? Will you talk to them so they know moving forward about the difference in teeth? When you're looking at a trimmer and you're going to purchase a trimmer, about the length of the teeth and the diameter distance between the blades, that usually, you know, the difference is at how they cut and how sharp they are or not sharp. And then one last time, will you show 90 degrees or above when you're flipping that thing over?
Of course. So that's really good to look at. So when I pull up these two, I'm not sure if okay, if I angle this, I'm trying to see and make sure I can see this really good. You can see that there's there's separation to these teeth on this big mag. The back of the blade, you can see that the teeth, you know, on the back of this are a lot shorter. So what that's telling you, with the separation, they're wider, and just shorter in the back, that's telling you that this is not going to be as a precision. Now, this is amazing on little kids. It's amazing on people that maybe have looser skin. They're a little bit older. It's amazing. But if you're trying to get down all the way off, especially on gray coarse hair, this one is still going to leave a teeny bit of stubble, because when you pop this blade off, you can see that there are no screws inside that you can adjust on this. How this comes out of the box, that's how it stays. Whereas, like we said, on our Detailer LI, you can take this blade off, put it into your Pro set and adjust it yourself. But as you can see on the back of this blade, these teeth on the back are finer, a little bit longer, and these are much closer together. Let me actually take the one, so maybe that, oh yeah, now this is much better. Okay, so on this blade, these teeth are very, very close together set. They're a little bit longer. So that is going to give you that precision that you need. That is going to give you that very sharp precision edge. So we're good on that?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. And we have another question. So they're loving the Pro set for the trimmer. There was a question, does Wahl have one of those for their clipper blades to make sure that they align them right? Or how do we know to align them correctly?
We do not have a Pro set for our clipper blades, but we do have amazing videos on YouTube under our Wahl Professional that you can go to, and you can see a lot of great YouTube videos. That is something that we will go ahead and try and set up with Great Clips. If I'll try and do, actually, you know what? I have a couple of videos on my Instagram, Kristi Wahl Clippers. We can put that in the little section. But I'll go ahead and make sure I do a video on adjusting your clipper blade. And that's a little bit different. We do have it on our website, but I will make sure I put one on my Instagram page as well. So then you guys can see that being done. You know, it's easier to be able to go back and relook and stuff. So we'll make sure that happens.
Okay, thank you. That was from CUNY. I hope I didn't butcher the name. CUNY, I believe. So
Awesome.
Thank you so much. Great question. Go ahead with your cut.
Okay, let's do our cut. Let's get to it. So this is the thing. I'm going to make this kind of really close so everyone can see nice and close to what we are achieving here. There we go. So this is the thing. People always think when they hear clipper cutting, they think like they're going to be bald headed, there's going to be no hair left, so on and so forth. So, but clipper cutting on women's hair is all about precision. There's a huge difference between going and getting a haircut, a clipper cut, than there is getting a shear cut. Now, this difference really to me is, one, it grows out nice and soft and natural, but also two is the precision of it, because you're never ever going to be able to be very, very precise down at the bottom and give somebody a nice, natural, soft finish when you're just using shears. It's just not going to happen. So, but this is the thing. When stylists start to do clipper cutting on women, they get a little nervous because they go into it and they approach it more aggressively. But we want this to be nice and soft. We want it to flow nicely. So the first thing I'm looking for is basically how is Joey's hair flowing? How is her hair naturally falling? You can see right here, she has a colic right here. I'm watching the direction that her colic is growing. I'm seeing it goes over this way, it goes down this way. She has multidimensional color because for a while there, she was bleaching it out and she was doing some fun, funky colors. We're in the middle, we're halfway, we're in a transition area. We're deciding what we're going to do with the color. So, which is kind of cool because this is more realistic of what you're going to see somebody walk into your store. I think this is more realistic of what we're going to see. So we're in the middle of deciding what we're going to do with this color. So that's great. So I'm watching to see how the hair grows, but this is how I'm going to approach this haircut. Just because people always never think about turning the clipper over and going down with it. For some reason, they just really, really don't. Like they always think that you're using a C motion, you're fading through the haircut, so on and so forth. But when I turn the clipper over and I go down with the clipper and I'm paying attention how the hair is growing, I'm taking out the bulk. I'm smoothing out the hair. So what that's going to do is going to allow me to take out that bulk. It's going to allow me to take out the bulk here of this transition area. Because what I see the biggest is people will use their clippers down here. And then once they get to this transition area, they put their clipper down, they take their shears out and they finish. But we want to do everything with clippers today. So let's go ahead and start. So this is my number 2 premium cutting guide that I have on my gold cordless magic clip. And I have my blade completely open. So we'll do a little quick. When my blade is open, that means I'm showing space between the teeth. That means it's a little less aggressive and I'm leaving some hair. When I close my blade completely closed, and the amazing thing, that is the biggest thing with cordless clippers, is this blade has a linear base movement. So that means it's going back and forth completely straight. So what that means is you really can zero this clipper out without ever pulling the skin. If you try and zero out a corded clipper, it has a different movement. It's an electromagnetic motor. And what that does is it's more like a windshield wiper. So if you still use corded clippers and you're trying to zero out your corded clippers, you're probably going to pull the skin. That's why I'm absolutely obsessed with my cordless clipper, is because of this linear base movement. I can zero it out. I'm never pulling the skin. So that is something that we will show when we do that video on how to adjust your clipper blade. So I've attached my number 2 premium cutting guide. I have got my blade all the way open, and I'm doing that because I always can take more hair if I can't put it back on. Now, if you've never done this technique before, let's start with a 4. Okay, so pop my 4 on, I hear it snap, it's not gonna fall off, I have my blade open. Let's turn it on and let's go down with the clipper. Not too much is coming off at all, but I want you to see, it's not ball headed. I haven't taken a chunk out of it. So a 4 hasn't done anything. Let's go to a 3. I got my 3 on, I still have my blade open. And a teeny bit more, but not really what I'm aiming for. Let's go with a 2. So let's put our number 2 back on my blade. I hear it snap. Let's listen to a snap. We're good. All the way open still. Now I'm getting some more. Let's turn. I want you to see this heavy spot, this transition area. Do you see how that whole transition area has just blended right in like butter? And I haven't even taken out any more hair off yet. I'm already giving her a really, really nice shape. It's helping me give her a shape to the haircut that I want to see. Holding her ear out the way. You see how I pull her ear out the way. But do you see, watch, I'm going straight down over these sideburns and they're still there. They haven't disappeared. But what that does is, look, you see how nice and smooth? It gets them so nice and smooth. So when I take and I go down with this clipper, and let's spin her, it just smooths out that whole entire shape. So now we have a really nice smooth shape. So now once I get up there, guess what? It's all gonna be blended in. So now let's start our fade. Really, we're going to take it down in the back, all the way down, because Joey likes it nice and tight at the bottom. So there's a million different ways to fade, a million. Long to short, short to long, Whatever you're comfortable with, that's what I want you to do. I want you to be comfortable with how you're going to achieve this haircut. So if there's any tips and techniques that I can give you that you see I do that's going to make your life easier, that's what I want for you. I want for you to really take what you've learned about your clipper blades, about your trimmer blades, and apply it to all these haircuts, okay? So how I go about my fade, it might be a little different how you go about your fade, but it's the end result. But the first thing I always do is take all that bulk out. So then I can see what I'm working with, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and start with my blade all the way open, no guard on it. And I'm just going to do very small C motions right at the bottom. Just taking, because if you could see, Joey has a W hairline. So if I were to edge her off hard on the back, give her a hard edge, these 3 little peaks would pop out right away. And it wouldn't, and that haircut would not last as long. So because she has a W hairline, that's why I'm going to taper out the back of her hairline off nice and tight, fade off that hairline nice and tight. So then this haircut's going to last longer. We're going to give her a very nice edge on the side, but I'm just going to fade off this bottom so then the haircut lasts longer. So I have my blade all the way open. That's when I know I can't open my blade anymore. It's time to put on my number 1 attachment comb. But listen,
Kristi,
yes.
Can I interrupt you real quick?
Yeah.
So what I'd like you to show them, because, you know, I know it was hard for you when you started. I know it was hard for me when a barber first showed me years ago. And I know a barber showed you as well. When you did that softness below the hairline and you were doing that tiny C scoop, could you, without the clipper on,
Yes,
cautiously show from a side angle how we actually go in and make the C way below the hair that we're trying to cut? And it's just that on the outstroke is when we actually hit the hairs that we're trying to remove. So I don't know. I don't know if we got a tight enough angle. There you go. There you go. Let's see.
Hold on. I'm getting in there. Hold on. Hold on. Let's get this. There we go. Now we're cooking.
Yeah, because it's so important. People usually start at the hairline instead of starting below like we were taught. So yes, hoping you can share that with them.
Good idea. 2 heads are better than 1. So I have the blade all the way open like we did, and I have it off, but like we said. So I'm just hitting right at the bottom. That's it. I'm just hitting right at the bottom, because I can take more off. We can't put it back on. So myself, when I fade, I'm fading very, very small, right at the bottom. That's it. Very small strokes, teeny tiny strokes. I'm not going straight in and just straight up. I'm just doing very nice, teeny tiny strokes. Okay. So we'll go ahead and leave. I'll try and leave this camera just even that close. Can we see good? Can you see good? We're good. Okay. So I put my number 1 attachment comb on and I close the blade. So this is what you have to realize in fading. If I'm not using my lever throughout the fade, what happens is that's when you get the lines of demarcation. So the easiest way for me to explain this is when I have the blade closed and I'm moving throughout this haircut, I'm slowly opening my blade. So I have it closed, halfway, all the way open. And I'm moving through this haircut, and that is what's going to give me a nice, perfect blend with no lines of demarcation. So I started with my blade all the way open. So if I were to put my number 1 on and keep it open, I would see a faint line in the haircut, and we don't want that. We want it to be a nice, seamless blend. So I'm going to close my blade. So let's close our blade. We're just going up a teeny tiny bit more. I open my blade halfway. I open my blade all the way. And as you can see, I'm not going up too high. I'm just working my way through the fade. Now look, I'm all the way open. I can't open it anymore. This is my number 1. So guess what? It's time to go to my number 2. So I snap on my number 2, but what do I have to do? Close it, close to open, close to open, close to open. Now I'm not going to get the lines of demarcation in the haircut. So now I have my number 2 on. I have it all the way closed, and let's get going. Still the same C-scoop, still the same motion. Halfway. All the way open. Now watch. I'm going to flip my clipper over, and I'm just going to go back down because I'm trying to keep it as smooth as possible. And this even helps with like taking lines of demarcation out, but keeping it soft. We're keeping it soft. A nice soft cut for a woman. So now look, we can already see the fade coming in. We can already see it blending in. Now I want you to see, let's do a little comparison. And I want you to see the difference between the 2 trimmers as far as like the precision goes, okay? So this is our mag. And let's do the mag on one side, and let's do our cordless detailer LI on the other side. Now, as you can see, I'm just tapping. I'm not pressing hard at all. I'm just tapping, making sure my cutting blade and my stationary blade are completely matching, hitting the skin exactly at the same time. All right, now let's turn to the other side.
Kristi,
Yes.
I believe you're using a trimmer, so I know the answer, but I'm gonna let you take it. So we have a question. When you flip it, is it on open?
Now the trimmer is always, you're never ever going to worry about open or close because the trimmer blade is always staying set. The trimmer is to edge. The trimmer is to go around the ears. The trimmer is to like do somebody's face. The clipper is where you're going to open and close. That's what's going to cut the hair. That's what's going to give you the transition of the fade or the blend, you know. Now the trimmer is the finishing tool. The trimmer is what's going to give you that nice edge, that nice outline. So the trimmer blade is not ever moving. It's going to stay just like this. Now you might have to adjust it like we said before, like with our Pro Set, but the trimmer is just made to just go ahead and edge around the ears, do the face, you know, so on and so forth.
Great, thank you. We're getting great questions. Keep them coming, guys.
Yeah, keep the questions coming. We love questions. So now let's show our detailer LI, and I'm just the same thing. I'm barely pressing. I'm just tapping. That is it. Do you already see the line that is created? I'm not pressing hard. When I say I'm not pressing hard at all, I'm not pressing hard at all. Joy, am I pressing hard?
No.
No. Okay. But I want you to see, look, this is a nice side. Don't get me wrong. That's nice. But look at the difference on this side. That is the difference between a precision trimmer, like I said, a dull steak knife, and this is the Ginsu. This is the steak knife. This sucker is like the knife that every professional chef uses. This is what if you want it done and you want that edge, this is what you're using, okay? Now there are cases that you're gonna need this, a little kid, an older person, somebody that just wants maybe a little bit softer, not as precise, but this is what you're going to use when you want that precise, nice edge. And I want you
Kristi,
yes.
I'm interrupting real quick. I asked the question, but I wasn't understanding it completely. So the question was, when you were using the clipper in the middle of there, was it flipped?
Oh, yes. When I was using the clipper, I had my number 2 attachment comb on it.
And was it open or closed?
And when I first started, I had it open because I wanted to just see how much hair was taken off. Remember, we're paying close attention to the direction of the hair growth. She has a colic right here. So I'm never going up higher than, you know, the transition area. I'm really focusing right, maybe a tiny bit above the occipital bone, but that's it. So I'm just laying it flat. I'm just taking it and I'm smoothing it out. But at first I had it open. But as you can see, when I work through the fade and I bring it up, they almost meet. So when I closed it and went down on the number 2, all that's do is smoothing it even a little bit tighter. So that's a great question. This is a technique that I just use all the time that saves me a lot of time on having to do extra shear work. Like me, myself, I fade very, very quickly, very fast. Like my favorite haircut to do is a ball fade. I'll do it in less than 10 minutes every time. And it's just because I'm really fast, but I've mastered these techniques that make me that much faster. So if these are little things that you can twerk into your day to make you that much faster, then that's what we want. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to do one side. Let's do a side because I want people to see how soft we can get it over the side. So this is my number 2 again. Let's move the ear out the way. And I'm just going to go around this ear. And as you can see, I'm really pulling my clipper out. Let's turn it a little this way too, so we can see. I'm really over exaggerating. Now here we go again. I turn my clipper over. My blade is about halfway closed. And look how soft and natural that is. Really, really nice and soft and natural. So then all I have to do, I'm trying to not get my big arm in the way. All I have to do is go around just with my little T, and I can clean up around the ear. And I'm still leaving that natural, you see? But look, when I turn this back, all this is nice and clean. And there's no scalp showing, but it's laying down really, really nice. And she has a really nice shape. So let's turn her, because I don't want to run out of time, because believe me, I could spend all afternoon with you guys. I promise I could. Because I want to show you how our big mag works as well. Because I want you to see that. It's really exciting. We're going to do the same thing on this side. This is my number 2 again. Let's go around this ear again. Nice light tap. I'm just using just the corner. Holding that ear, just the corner. That's it, just the corner. Now this is the side I use the mag on, so watch. Nice light taps. You see how nice and clean that is? Around the ear, it's nice and clean, but you still see how nice and soft we have these sideburns. Nice and soft. So let's show real quick, because I want everyone to see how we're gonna go even about doing the top. So everyone always thinks, oh my gosh, I have to use, you know, shears. You can use shears in the top. If that's what you're comfortable with, use shears for sure. I love using both shears on the top. I love using clippers on the top. I'm just, you know, mixing it up, because I really, with her hair, she really likes it to be soft, a little more whimsical. She has a really beautiful natural curl in it that she either loves or she hates. It depends on what day it is of the week. She sometimes really loves it. She sometimes really hates her natural curl. Her lovely mother gave it to her, so I'm sure she's very happy about that. So we're just wetting it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go through the haircut just like I would. And we're going to use a clipper instead of a shear. So let's take out our big mag. This is our big mag, like we talked about. I have the blade completely closed. So I'm going to cut her hair just like I would if I were to use a shear, but I'm going to use the clipper. I want to get this nice and tight. I want everybody to see the best that they can. There we go. Okay. So when I pull this hair up, just like I would with my shears.
What did you do with the blade?
My blade is all the way closed.
Okay, and is that the blade that comes on it, or is it a specialty blade?
No, this is the blade that comes with it. This is the blade.
Okay.
This is, you can fade, you can taper with this. The blade moves up and down, open and close, just like our other one. But like we stated in the beginning, we use the back. We use the little lever on the back. There's no lever on the side. It's on the back of the blade.
So that's great for any handed person, lefty, righty. Nothing's getting in the way on the side. Okay, great. Thank you.
Tracy, you're getting bonus points today. Yes, that's good for everybody. You're right. So when I pull the hair up and I have it between my fingers, I am going to take this blade and I'm going to turn it in to the grizzle. So when I take this, I turn, poof, in. And the reason I'm doing that, and I'll do it this way so you can see too, the reason I'm doing that, because if I were to go like this, look, this, because of where my knuckle is, the hair would be longer. But when I take it and I turn it in to my hand, into here, it's going to be even all the way across. So I'm getting more, I'm able to cut more hair because like we know, we're not going to take a shear all the way into the grizzle. Because if you've ever cut right in here, which I have done plenty of times with shears, you think you're going to pass out. So you're not ever going to cut your hand when you use your big mag to do this technique. So which is actually really great. So if you're the only one in your store that is doing this, guess what? Everyone is going to start requesting you to cut their hair because they're going to see how amazingly beautiful your haircuts are. So as I work through this haircut, like I would, like if it was a shear cut, then I can go through and do the layers and the length. But I want you to see, when I comb her hair, do you see how that movement is already laying? Because it's so beautiful, because we've already taken it and put it into the haircut. We've already taken all of that bulk out, and all we have to do is worry about this in the top. So I don't want to run out of time. I want you guys to see, this is probably the most exciting, is this is what's going to be a game changer for you, especially with women's haircuts, is this is going to give you amazing texture. So you're not going to have to take out your texturizing shear, your chunking shear, your feather razor, nothing. So this is what is called our texturizing blade. This fits, it pops off. So you don't have to buy two clippers. You don't have to buy two, big mags. You buy this separately. So when this pops on, what this allows you to do is to create texture. So let's go ahead. Let's say we want to give it some texture in the top. And we want to take our thumb, just like we would almost slice. We're pulling through the ends to give it some texture. Let's say, like you guys, let's say you're used to kind of, raking, so on and so forth. Let's give it a little texture on the ends. I'm just going to run the blades back and forth on the ends. That's going to texture it. Let's say in the front, I want to give this front a little bit of texture through here. Do you see how it's a little bit heavy? Let's give that a little bit of texture. So I'm just going to hold it and I'm just going to run the blade through gently. That's going to help lay that hair down. It's going to give it a nice soft glow. Let's say I want the hair to lay under better. I'm going to take it, if I get my finger out of the way, so you can see underneath, if my hand wasn't in the way, underneath, I can take this blade and go under, and that's going to help lay the hair down. If I want to go throughout, I'm going to go throughout the whole haircut, and I'm going to give it texture. I'm going to, like we did before, my thumb and my finger, guess what? I'm pulling through the ends. Basically like you would do like with your feather razor, but I'm doing it very, very quickly with my clipper and my texture blade. So the great thing about the Big Mag is you can purchase the texture blade separately, but you can get all these amazing results in the haircut. So when her hair dries, but do you see how, like when I'm just pushing it up now, do you see all of that movement throughout? Like the movement is amazing with this blade. Let me turn it in the back so you can even see. I want you to see it nice and close. And even like
Kristi,
yes,
we got more questions. So
okay.
I'm sure you said this, but I'm gonna remind everyone.
Yes,
we're using it on wet hair, much like you would use a feather razor on wet hair, because it's gonna glide through easier and it won't. If you do it on dry, you got to be a lot more cautious. It could grab more hair. And then
so here, Tracy, I want them to see my hair is dry, but I want you to see I'm just very lightly doing it on my hair, and you see how it just gives it that soft. On wet hair, I feel like I can really manipulate it better. I have more control over it. Dry hair, I would be very, very, very careful, but wet hair, I just really can manipulate the tool better.
And the second part of that, well, that was my statement. I want to make sure that they understood. You know, we prefer it on wet hair because you can get a little bit more crazy. I wouldn't use it on dry hair until you're used to the tool really, really well. And then they're asking, can you do that on long hair? Which we both know, but you want to throw it, and wigs and extensions and everything.
Now it's absolute. Now it's amazing. I use this all the time. Like I do everybody's hair. I don't care what color you are. As long as you have hair and your money, I do it. I have Black people, white people, Spanish people. I have every type of ethnic background person that comes to my shop. I do everything. As long as they have hair and they have money, I do it. So I don't do long hair. I like my specialize in short hair. I cut it off. I don't put it on. Okay. But if I do have somebody come in and let's say they, for some reason, I'm like the wig lady, like people bring me wigs all the time because a lot of times the wigs don't look natural. And so I'll take my texturizing blade and I'll go through that whole wig and just smooth it out. And it's just fabulous. It's amazing. Amazing. So let's kind of just recap real quick because we only have 5 minutes because I love to talk. So we only have 5 minutes. So let's kind of recap. I want everyone, you know, to kind of get a good idea of kind of what we've done here today. And then we'll have maybe 2 minutes left for any extra questions. We talked about our 2 different blades. We talked about our 21 degree, our 13 degree. So we've talked about our taper blade and we talked about our precision fade blade. So all the way getting that first line demarcation off, nice and soft, okay? Then we went ahead and we just talked about our Big Mag, which is amazing. We talked about our trimmers. So really by far, this is like probably, I know hands down, I do know hands down, this is the best trimmer on the market. I use it all day, every day, absolutely love it. And the amazing thing is, like we said, you get the Pro Set. So we went ahead and we went through the haircut. We went ahead and gave her a nice soft taper at the bottom, just kind of faded it off because like we said before, she has the W hairline in the back. So we wanted to fade that off. Once we did that, we started to blend it in. We took out all that bulk. We started to take off some length in the top. We did some texturizing with our Big Mag with our texturizing blade. And now you can see the transition of the haircut. So do we have any other questions before we sign off? Because I don't want to go over time because I'm very good at that.
Yes. So we have another question and I kind of answered it in the chat box, but you can answer as well. Do you use any type of cutting aid when doing an interior cut? Usually if it's wet and clean, that's what we prefer.
Yeah, I mean, you know, she asked me if there was anything she wanted me to, you know, have her put on her hair. I was like, no, I just want it completely clean. I prefer to just cut, you know, wet, clean hair. A lot of times in the beginning, though, as you could see, I did not wet the hair until I started to do all of this up here. When I did all of this hair cutting at the bottom, for all of my transition and my fading work. I did it when it was dry because I can see, I feel like I have I can see it better, you know? So, but once I went into that and got to the top, is just pure water, just water. That's it. I mean, but it really is personal preference. But for me, I like just water because sometimes when you use an aid, it manipulates the hair to move differently than it would naturally. And so then when it dries, it might not be exactly like you want. So.
Or it could junk up our blades. We really want our blades to work the best.
I'm old school. Just give it to me plain.
Any other questions, guys? Oh, sorry. I'm checking to make sure. Do we have any other questions? We'd love to answer them. Now's the time.
Now is it. But I do want to, you know, in closing, we have 2 minutes. I'm keeping a close eye on this clock. I do want to say thank you very, very much. I know it is a Tuesday afternoon, so I know that there's a lot of busy people, and I know you guys are busy at the shops, but I do want to say thank you for like tuning in to our first ever Wall Clippers live YouTube video, which I'm very excited to be a part. I will, if Tracy can put my Instagram on the feed, that would be great. And I will go ahead and get to doing in the next couple days, I will adjust my clipper. So you can see exactly how I adjust my clipper blade. I already have on there how to use the Pro Set to adjust your trimmer blade. So that is already on my Instagram page, but you always can go to wallpro.com on our YouTube, and we have amazing videos on YouTube.